Hey FlossTube, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh with video, FlossTube number 99 on Sunday the 7th of November. It's almost my 2-year FlossTube anniversary. I uploaded my first FlossTube on the 10th of November 2019, so that's kind of crazy, right? Doing the math, ignoring bonus videos, I've only missed, what, 8 or 9 videos in 2 years, all for very good reasons. Oh, I got a Scottish mug with McDonald from the Scottish shop in Dunedin, which I had to go to last weekend. So yeah, you'll be all aware, those of you who are familiar visitors to the channel, that I took last week off because I was in Dunedin for a long weekend, a break. But I did upload a bonus video for those who wanted to look in see my craft nook as my best friend, who tells me last night she occasionally watches my videos. My best friend, T, we'll call her, calls it my study nook. Of course it's an actual room, but it's now become a joke, so I'm feeling like stitching a wee sign, the nook or something. Anyway, those of you who watched it seem to enjoy it, and A, yes, I am pretty organised. Are you surprised? B, for me that still needs a whole lot of organisation. I've got too much stuff. C, yeah, I don't have that much stitching stuff, but I do have a lot of stitching stuff. The thing is that I buy it to stitch and I don't buy it to collect it, so that's why 50 at 50. Anyway, one of the reasons anyway. So yeah, lovely long weekend last weekend in Dunedin. There were sort of 7 of us, I guess, in the end, because a couple of people couldn't make it due to lockdown / family reasons. But yeah, I guess me and 6 newish friends, met up in Dunedin, and we did spend a couple of afternoons at Stitch Witch, the relatively new stitching / stitching / quilting store and a banana store in Dunedin. They are working on their website, so it's coming soon apparently, but be patient. It's a big job to open up a new business, also in the middle of a pandemic. It was really nice just to get out of town and I guess do not much really, but relaxing and just spending company with a few friends. I like small gatherings, I don't like big gatherings, so while I enjoy the 2 retreats I've been to, they are overwhelming. All those people and all that noise, and it's a lot, and I get a bit sort of shell-shocked, I guess, is the best way I can describe it. But with a handful of people I'm much more comfortable, so I enjoyed just getting to know some of my new friends better. And we had a couple of dinners out. 3 of us had an apartment in an old hotel above a pub, so we could sit in the mornings and in the evenings, afternoons, and have a cup of tea and do some stitching, or napping or reading or whatever. It was just really nice to sit down with no other obligations and just relax, like properly relax. So that was really cool. First time in Dunedin, which for those of you who don't know, New Zealand, it's the 5th largest city in New Zealand, which doesn't mean much because it's like 130,000 people, give or take, depending on whether you've got students going to Otago University or not. It's on the east coast of New Zealand, and Dunedin is named after the Dunedin, I don't know how to say that, Scottish Gaelic for Edinburgh, so that's what Dunedin means. So it has, I think it was established in the gold rush in the 1860s maybe, late 1800s. And it, yeah, my first time there, cute little city. While this trip was about spending some time with friends and relaxing, I'm looking forward to going down again with a car and driving around and visiting all the kind of all the things you want to go to down there. The albatross colony, the yellow-eyed penguin colony, I know Larnac Castle, all the up the coast, down the coast. So yeah, that's a future thing. But anyway, I have a little bit of footage I'm just going to put in. I just did a quick sweep of the Octagon. That's sort of the central plaza in Dunedin. As the name suggests, it's an 8-sided plaza, and I just did a quick little shot of it on this Monday after lunch. Beautiful day, lovely blue skies and stuff. And then I should have noticed the clock on the cathedral, because I stopped the video just as, and then the Carillon, the bells started for 1 o'clock. So then I started the video again, and then I stopped it just before it went bong, because of course it was 1 o'clock. So you can't, anyway. I'm a terrible videographer, but so there's 2 little videos spliced together, just quick little sweep of the Octagon, and then just catching a bit of the Carillon before 1 p.m. It was a lovely day. We did a little bit of retail shopping on Monday. We went, because a couple of the ladies drove back to Christchurch, and then that left, I guess, the 3 of us from Wellington wandering around. I went to the art gallery. The shop was really lovely, the exit through the gift shop. We went to one exhibit because, wearing masks and everything inside just makes doing things not as much fun. So we, there's a point we just got to need to get this mask, I need some fresh air. I need to get this mask off and stop bathing in my own moisture. So we went to one of the exhibits of a New Zealand artist, I guess a relatively modern artist, but past deceased, can't remember her name, Joanna Paul, I think it is, and she had settled for quite a while in the Dunedin area during her formative years, I guess. It wasn't our cup of tea, it was odd, and she was prolific. And they say art, what is art? It evokes a response, evokes an emotion. We had responses and emotions, and they weren't, let's just say, not going to buy any of her art. Not that I could afford it, but yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. It was just odd and weird, kind of garish colours and very sort of flat. She used oils on paper and stuff, but it was very flat. I expect oils to be thick and textured and luscious, and it just everything felt to me like it was the undercoat and was the underpainting and needed I don't know. It just wasn't my thing, but it was funny. We had a good giggle. There were a couple of people in there who were sitting, reading the brochure and looking intently at one picture, and we're like kind of going around, well, it's weird, not really my cup of tea. So it was quite funny, but anyway, I went to a little bit of shopping, not too much, because, got to carry the luggage back on the plane, etc. But yeah, went to the Scottish shop. On Tuesday before we flew back, we went over to Ocho, to the chocolate factory in Dunedin. So I'm actually a shareholder with this company. So I can walk in and say, oh, do you know who I am? I am an owner. It sort of was the crowdfunded to buy the factory back in 2016, 2017 maybe. It's a long story about how it ended up being crowdfunded.
You go to pledgemeet.co.nz and follow your nose. Okay. Pass your logo. Yes. Right. Oh yeah, that's a test batch. So that's 106.
Anyway, we also did a tasting with their chocolate. Kind of they went through, have a tasting plate. They go from bean to bar. You have the various stages of, a couple of stages of the nibs, then the untempered chocolate through to their tempering and their dark, comparing it with some commercial brands. And anyway, it's kind of fun. So we supported that, and then went to up the road. They have a peanut butter place, so I bought some peanut butter and some almond butter from Bay Road, just supporting the. I'm very motivated by food. It may or may not be obvious. So did that, and that's pretty much it really. Lunch, and then back to Stitch Witches to pick up our bags where we left our bags there. Very kindly, they let us, when we checked out, walk over and leave our bags. I got just a few photos I took at Stitch Witches. I tried not to get people in it, and video is hard when people are talking and all that, so I just did a couple of photos. It's a small store. They are Sue the Stitchy Sue is slowly building up their inventory. They don't have full ranges of anything yet. Like they don't have full range of weeks. They do stock weeks, classic colour works, gentle arts, Avera Soie d'Auger, and starting to build up the 103, which was very exciting. But I had a long list, and I managed to get a dozen off that list. So I've left a large wish list with Sue. So as and when she does orders, she'll hopefully order some of what's on my wish list, which is fine for it to trickle in because I don't need it overnight. But if you're in New Zealand and you're interested in her getting anything in, message her. Just keep in mind, I think she's trying to cater, I guess, more towards the not higher end, but the less generic maybe. So you know, if you want a fat quarter or 14 count Aida, there are lots of places to get that in New Zealand. But if you want some particular fabric or linen banding or silk threads or whatever, Lowry Supplies, you know, give them an email, have a look on their Facebook group, and Sue maybe will order that in for you. Anyway, so what did I buy when I was there? Not a lot. I was really good, but I did, as I said, I left a large wish list, which included 8 pieces of, like a wish list of, if and when you're ordering 36 or 40 count from Fox and Rabbit, here are 8 colours I like, and I would like at least a fat quarter in those. And I said, please don't invoice me for all 8 of them at the same time. She won't get them in all at the same time, but she said knowing what people want helps her make decisions about what to order in. I bought one chart, and just this little la-di-da chart, Quaker alphabet, because it wasn't too big, and I need some sort of smaller projects in my list for next year. It's called for Belle Soie, Creme de Menthe and Noir. I don't know. I did buy a couple of blues and weeks that I love, which I might use. I just, Judith bought this colour navy by Weeks. I love it. I'd never seen that particular shade before and I loved it. And then I also grabbed Fathom because it was a nice, so if I decide to do them in the cotton, I might do them in those too. So that was just a little thing in my stash. I was aiming to kit up some of Alexander's of Llanrathen by Hands Across the Sea. Of all the lists, they were the only 103 that she had in her drawer, so I've left her with the list to get the rest. So just three of the spools there, because that's all that she had in. And then I just went through what was on the wall and picked a couple of projects that I want to do with the cord for that are in the box with fabric already. There are a few flosses for a couple of projects. I can't actually remember what they are off the top of my head, but it's just Weeks, Classic Colour Works, and Gentle Arts. You don't really need to know. Just some, I do love me autumn tones. So yeah, I can't remember which two projects they're for. You'll see them one day when they're fully kitted up. And then just a little needle minder with their little logo. So Stitch Witches established 2020. So there's 3 of the ladies own the store, 2 Sues and someone else whose name I can't remember. One Sue is more on the stitchy side, and the other Sue is more on the quilty side, although they both do dabble in the other's specialty. And then the other lady does, I think she's more back office, and I can't remember, but that's all I bought. It's pretty good for me, I think. Also new in, Judith delivered me this, so we ordered these from, we did a group order from the Cruel Goblin, I think. I can't remember, in Australia. So I got my book of days. So I'm going to be using this for, this is from Needlework Press, in case you don't know. You can probably find it at a needle store close to you. I'm going to use this to manage, track, keep a record of my 50 at 50. So I probably will go through and put in all my holidays, put in birthdays and things. Treat it like a bit of a planner, but more around marking, the various times of the year, like first day of spring, equinox, I don't even know what else. So then, and mark out like week 1, 1 of 50, 2 of 50 kind of thing. And then, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I will embellish it somewhat. I'm not going to go, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might go mad. Who knows? But yeah, that's what that Judith delivered that to me. When I was down, we went for Christine, who lives in Dunedin, invited us for dinner one night, and I was like, whip parade, whip parade. So we didn't make her, but we gently encouraged her to pull out, poor thing, her lounge looked like a hurricane had gone through it. She pulled out a whole lot of her whips and things, and it was so much fun. And Christine does a lot of, hi Christine. Christine does a lot of stitching on, I guess, lower count fabrics. So she'll take a design that you might think, I'll do that on 40, she might do that on 16 count or something, and they're amazing. Just such love. Sometimes a project can look so different on a different scale and using different floss and stuff. So she loaned me this, so I'm going to have to sort this out. But I want to make a whole lot of colour changes because I really like the faded beauty of the original, or the inspiration piece I should say, because it's not a direct, like there's this and this are the same, but they've changed the middle to be the house and stuff. But I love this faded sort of white and dark green, and so I'm gonna have a fiddle with that, I think. Thank you, Christine. So I will get that stitched next year. And then she's also shown some stuff, and one of the things she's working on was this freebie from Doreen Jones from her Facebook page. So if you become a member of, it's Doreen Jones Cross Stitch Fans, or Doreen Jones Cross Stitch Designs, or something like that. I'm not a huge fan of her designs generally, because they tend to be a little bit cutesy, very themey, cutesy, and it's not my thing. But I love this. And Christine was using an overdye, a variegated thread. It was amazing. So I just had to go and get this, and I did print it off. I could download it, but anyway, that's new to me. And then I got, it's weird how I'm doing all this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got a lovely surprise from Danielle. I won't say your username in case you don't want me to, but she gifted me something from my wish list, which she managed to track down, even though I use a different email. She found me on Heaven and Earth, and she gifted me one of the charts. So sorry if you don't like boobies. I don't know if you're watching my channel, then you have to deal with boobies. Magic Moment, was it? Mystic Moments one from Linda Ravenscroft. And there is a companion, so when I stitch this, I'll then follow it up with number 2. So we have 2 metre long laces stitched. And thank you again, it was such a surprise. It was quite funny actually, because when I had seen this email come through when I was on leave, when I was on holiday, and I just was like, okay, I'll look at that later. I thought for some reason a freebie had got sent from Heaven and Earth, but the name was wrong. And then I was like, I had a look at it and I was like, what? And I clicked the link and it said, oh, something has expired or something. And I was like, oh, I'll worry about it later. Then I forgot all about it. And then Danny messaged me and said, did you get a link? I'm like, oh my God, I totally did get something. I went back, still couldn't get it. It just said you can't, here's the code didn't work. Anyway, so then I emailed Michelle at Heaven and Earth and just said, hey, I got this link and I can't open it. So then I had to forward she was like, forward the email to me, so then I forwarded the email. Anyway, then it magically appeared in my inbox. So, and then I realised what it was, because even though the name was there, I didn't know what this was called. I was just mesmerised by these fantastic bosoms. And I don't know, I liked it. So I was very excited, and she suggested that would I take up the challenge, and I'm like, well, duh. So then I was like, how did you know I love this chart? She looked for my name, and I had commented on it, I think, when I put it in my wish list. I don't really know how Heaven and Earth works, but so I've just printed off the floss chart, because usually I'll match that to make a floss card and stuff. What I do love about it is, while the background is a lot of beige, well, you could probably cut the background out, to be fair, if you wanted to. But there are huge blocks of colour. It's not confetti. It doesn't get confetti until you get to the ring. Oh, sorry about my terrible... So the ring has confetti, and obviously when you get here, you get confetti. But most of this creamy beigey background are big chunks of colour. So like easily, even 1,000 stitches in one colour and 1,000 stitches in another colour. So even to the point where you could probably stitch around the, on Pattern Keeper, stitch around the edge of that block and then just do minus fill in, stitch around the edge of the next block, minus fill in. I think the background actually could go quite quickly because it's not confetti background, so that's really good. So that's probably the main reason why I hadn't bought them by now, is because I was like, what do I do about the background? And I had thought about messaging Heaven and Earth and said, hey, could you do no background versions of these charts and then just get a blotchy over dye? But anyway, now that I've got the chart in my hot little hands, the background looks fine. Like, as in, it's a lot of stitching, but it's not a lot of confetti, and I just didn't want to spend like months stitching confetti beige. I'm gonna sneeze in a minute. One moment. I'm back. That was so 23 minutes in. That's all the new stuff in, I think, and crap that's nothing to do with stitching, but you know, exciting. So I have a little bit of stitching. So I've got 2 weeks, and I spent a 4-day weekend. Well, yeah, 3.5-day weekend, 4-day weekend in Dunedin, where probably spent the best part of 3 half-days stitching. Well, Sunday we spent most of the day stitching, 10 till 4 kind of thing. So, yay. Oh, one thing when we got there, we were given a little kit. So Sue, to say thanks for coming down and spending time in our store. I have to not hide the chart. She gave us a little kit with this chart from the Witchy Stitcher, which, you know, I'm not a huge Halloweeny person, but there's a little witch in all of us is not untrue, and it's just a little cauldron. So it's just a little kitted up with DMC and stuff, but she added a couple little charms into the pack, which I don't know if they were supposed to be added to this piece, but I did. So we were there over Halloween. We were there Saturday, the weekend, and I just thought, well, it'd be nice to have a finish, so I stitched it and I added the 2 little charms that she'd included there, the little witch charm and the little 2021 up there, and my initials up in the C. So just whipped that up as you do. So it's quite sweet, and I'll probably make it into a little pillow or something just because I can, and it can sit and be enjoyed. So yeah, thank you for that, Sue. But if you want to get a copy of this chart, go to thewitchystitcher.com. So I've actually bought one of their charts in the past. So that was a start and a finish, a SAF. A great opportunity to stitch something that I could stitch in dim-ish light in a hotel. I took along my Blackwork, Peppermint Purple Blackwork 2021 SAL, and got caught up as of last week. So I haven't stitched this Thursday's yet. All called for on 18 count, and I'm all caught up with the blocks, and I also did all of this bottom half of this border. I am going to do another border around the edge. Not sure if I'm doing the Art Deco-y sort of one, or if I probably will, to be fair. This project is not one that I'm using for my imagination. I'm just using it because I think they're really fun. But this was really easy because it's so repetitive. You get a run in your head. So this was really easy to sit and stitch in relatively crappy light. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. So not many weeks to go. So week 44 just came out this week. So I will definitely have that one finished by the end of the year. The last 2, I'll get all the other borders stitched, and the last block comes out, I think, on the Thursday before before New Year. So New Year, what is that, Saturday? So it must come out on the 30th, but it'll take 20 minutes to stitch that. Oh, it's probably going to be a long block, so it might take me an hour to stitch that last block, and then it will be done. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what her next one is, because it's going to be different to the last couple of years. In my last video, I did pick up did a little bit more. I'm pretty sure I did. This was in my pile to show the internet. So when I stitch on something in a week, I put it into a place. So I know what I stitched on that for my next video. But I picked up my Long Dog Samplers Life After Death, which I am stitching 36 count antique white linen by Zygat with the Silks for You PR135, Kreinik BF006 in the crowns and probably the key. I think there's a key on here, and DMC 807 for the hearts and the crowns. Started this on the 1st of August. I am going to finish this year, especially since after you saw it last, I did go ahead and put the date and down the side there, 2021. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I think after you saw it, I filled in a little bit more of this bit and some of these animals, I think like the dog and that. I know I put the hearts and stuff in blue and the crown, so I didn't do heaps, but I'm getting close to that halfway mark. So I will finish that. This is going to probably see quite a bit of love over the next, can you see it? I can't tell. This is probably going to get a lot of love over the next month because I do want to finish it this year, and I totally can finish it this year. I just have to stop starting things, and I'm really loving it. I do love stitching on the long dogs. I know they can look a little intricate, but the mono, it's just like, just stitch, and it's relaxing. Of course, the first came around, and I'm trying to keep up to date with it, so I picked up this week the Fruits of Plenty 2021 sale from Modern Folk Embroidery, which I am stitching on 40 count Toitoi linen from Country Stitch with DMC 919 and 922 1/2. Started this on the 2nd of January, and I am also going to finish this year, especially since I've stitched ahead, which it appears that Jacob isn't a fan of us doing that. I'm sorry, Jacob, but it is my stitching, so it's okay. I've loved stitching the bottom because I could stitch from the bottom up. It made me so much happy. So I got that middle bit done, and all I've got to do is fill in that medallion and that little bit of the SCC, which will be on the December chart. Otherwise, I'm very close to a finish. So it's very hard to fit in the screen. I am so happy with it. Yeah. I was thinking about putting a couple of little fiddly bits in around the initials, but I quite like the breathing space of the initials because you see them. They don't get lost in the foliage, and that's what we stitched this time. Yay me. So excited that that's going to be finished by the end of the year. If anyone's interested, I think I'm probably not going to do next year's sale. Jacob is doing a mystery to stop the likes of me from stitching ahead because it won't be like fully symmetrical, but it is going to be, I think, a reproduction or based on a reproduction. So it's the sort of thing where I'll probably wait till it's released, and if I like it, I'll just buy the chart at the end of the year. So I fully intend at this stage to not stitch on the Modern Folk Embroidery sale for next year. I can change my mind. And then after last video, last FlossTube, so 2 weeks ago, I had showed this chart from the Cross Stitch magazine, July 2020, that Jodie, Darth Vader Stitches, had started and shown on the New Zealand Facebook group, and I was like, so I signed up for Readly again, and I got it, and I started it, and I took this away to Dunedin as well, again because it's because on 32 count on a plain background and little motifs and stuff, it was pretty easy to pick up and stitch in weird light. So I've done quite a bit of this over the last couple of weeks. I stitched the peacock, I pitched the bee and the peacock yesterday. And I made quite a few little adjustments here and there where I found what I consider to be charting errors. So like something in here was a bit unsymmetrical, and down here there was some blue not charted, and I've twiddled with this a bit. And I've also realised I cocked up, so I counted across here, I missed one here, which means all of this is one stitch this way. So I'm going to do a little bit of finagling to fit up here. At least these are not all lined up exactly, like some of the motifs are one stitch in from the other ones. So I'll make it work, but I've got to do a little bit of finagling so I don't end up with it, this bit up here. If I count off the peacock, things are going to be a little bit further over here. So I just have to, I'm not undoing this stuff here, but I'm really happy with it. So what am I, probably a third done, just over a third done if you took off that motif. So yeah, it's a fun little stitch and nice to do little spot motifs here and there. I'm not going to focus on this too much necessarily because I want to get Life After Death finished. So Life After Death is going to have my attention this week, probably, and yeah, that's what I'm going to focus on. It's been the one I want to get finished. So yeah, Life After Death, the Modern Folk Embroidery and the Blackwork SAL will definitely be finished by the end of the year. And yeah, that's the main ones that I want to get finished. And then if I get another finish, I've got quite a lot of stitching still to do on both of my Carolyn Manning designs and my Oriental Lady Grace. They, you know, I'm not going to finish all 3 of those, and I probably won't finish any of them, to be fair. We'll see how it goes. Work's going to be pretty busy, so I just have to keep muddling through. That's pretty much it. So quite a lot of stitching over the last couple of weeks, but going away for a kind of stitchy, informal stitching weekend, more of a go away and relax and see a new place, meant that I got a little bit done. Next week is going to be video number 100, which is just weird, and I will have been doing this for 2 years, which is also weird. And I, as always, thank you for coming along and watching my FlossTube video. Enjoy your stitching, keep safe. As always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.